What up, what up, what up? Sports fans all over the world. It's your boy Mac the Giants fan here with my guy Zion Zenith, Adam Costas, and y'all definitely know the wind beneath our wings, always up above looking down on us. NYG Jeffrey T, man. Jeffrey Turner, the one and only, man. This is the Premium Takes Podcast. Let's go! Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. How y'all out there feeling tonight, man?
Very good. Very good.
Feeling good. Finally on time this episode to talk sports with the homies. So thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yes, you are.
It should be a fun show. Let's get
it. Good to see you here on time, Zion.
Absolutely.
Man.
Thank you. Let's get it.
But let's get right on into it, man. Let's get right to it, though, man. Let's go start the show. We recap last night's game matchup up in Titletown, Lambeau Field. The Green Bay Packers took on the Detroit Lions, man. And how you guys feeling about these Detroit Lions, man, after another big win?
They're looking legit. I'll tell you that much. When you look at the defenses around the National Football League, of course, you think about the San Francisco 49ers, you think about the Eagles, you think about Dallas, and then, the Saints was kind of popping up there. But, the Lions, man, they kind of came out of nowhere. Everybody was talking about this is the game that they needed to go out there and win. You know what I'm saying? The road, the playoffs, the hopes, the division always ran through Green Bay. Jordan Love is looking like a great quarterback, early on in his career. Green Bay does look like they found someone in him, but then this was a team that was ready for the moment, was ready to go take on Green Bay. Jordan Love did struggle because it did show that Detroit's defense is showing up. Like I'll be lying if I didn't want to critique Detroit, with the offense, I kind of believe like the narrative is Campbell doesn't know how to use his players, but the guy's winning games. I wish they would have used Gibbs a little bit more than they did. I know David carried the ball like 32 times, but who cares if you're winning the ball to win the game? I would want to see them going forward being more don't take the foot off of the gas so soon. Most of the points came in the first half. I'm not saying go out there and do what Miami did to the Denver Broncos, but still, I kind of feel like if you take your foot off the gas against really good teams in the league, they're going to try to come back. And, they almost brought life back into the Packers, even though they had that game sealed by the second quarter. I would be lying if I said I was surprised. I really wasn't. I kind of expected this out of Detroit, and I'm just happy that Detroit fans finally got a team to cheer for. Detroit has one of the better offensive lines in the league, and it's looking like their defense, is looking pretty good. Hopefully, the rookie and Brian Branch, we'll see the full details on that injury. But I'm taking up too much time already, and I don't want to take all the good points away. So I'm gonna pass the mic over to Adam.
Well, are the Lions legit? I think we really start to take them seriously. Their front seven is pretty good with Adrian Hutchinson. He's done a phenomenal job. He's living up to being a top pick. He's not the top overall pick. Remember, Trayvon Walker was. He should probably have been number one. That's how he's playing. The Lions believe in themselves. They believe in their swagger. They believe in what they're building over there. And, oh, by the way, their quarterback is playing outstanding football for his career. Okay, I know people laugh at Jared Goff and they don't like him. And this is not me throwing roses at another quarterback, as some have suggested. This is just what is happening on the field. He is playing his best ball right now. Dare I say he's borderline MVP candidate with Tua Tagovailoa? I mean, we might have to start considering that if this team starts to really dial it in. You know what I mean? They're up 3-1 over. They're number one in their division right now over Green Bay, who looks like it's the only team that probably is capable of doing anything in that division. And they also beat Kansas City, which is a statement win. Remember, we talk about the Giants. They had a win against Tennessee. That kind of propelled them and springboarded them into what they did. I think beating Kansas City opening night really kind of hit home what Dan Campbell was preaching. He was like, yo, follow me, believe in each other, play for one another, and I'm telling you, results will happen. But when they happened that day and they knew they could go toe-to-toe with the best in the league, that mindset changed. That light bulb went on. And we really got to take the Lions seriously. They can score with the best of them, or they can play defense with the best of them. So,
Yeah, well said, gentlemen. Guys hit on pretty much everything and just add a couple more points. Like Jared Goff, like you said, he got off to a really tough start last night with that interception, but he was able to shake that off and rebound and really put together a pretty nice game overall after that. I mean, probably actually out of the first few weeks of the season, not as necessarily his biggest game, statistically, but obviously that's another thing about this Detroit Lions team that makes them so damn dangerous is that they're a team that's proving to be able to win in a multitude of ways. Last night, it was all about that running attack. David Montgomery, 32 carries for 121 yards and 3 big touchdowns. That was huge on the night for the Detroit Lions, and they haven't even truly unleashed Jahmyr Gibbs yet. So wait until that happens. Wait until that happens, and then we'll see. Then you'll really see what this Detroit Lions team can do offensively. I mean, the passing game speaks for itself, like you just said. Jared Goff is a potential, like right now, early MVP candidate, hitting all his receivers. I mean, he's spreading the ball all around, so everybody's getting some, man. With this Detroit Lions offense, sneaky good defense. Aiden Hutchinson, and that pass rush is just absolutely phenomenal. You can just go ahead and ask Jordan Love about that, especially in the first half of this game. But I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Still talking about this game, obviously, but there's one play that really it's been bothering me since it happened last night. And the referees, man, they need to be held accountable for these kind of errors because these are errors that could. If this game was a little bit closer, this could have been something that really cost the Detroit Lions off of referee error. At the end of that third quarter, man, that clock hit 0, and Green Bay clearly snapped that ball late, and to allow that play to go down, which ended up being a big 44-yard play, which set Green Bay up in prime position to start the fourth quarter, man. That's not acceptable. And then to say the play is not even challengeable, so you can't even come back from break, can't even challenge that shit and be like, referees, you guys made a big time error. That play shouldn't have counted. It was the clock hit 0. So the fact that they can get away with making errors like that could have potentially affected the games. It's you got to start holding these referees accountable, man. I'm curious how you guys feel about that.
Well, the referees have sucked in the NFL for a long time. And here's the thing. I agree with you. You should be able to challenge certain things if they're egregious like that, because that to me is an error on the clock, right? That's not like an error. It's not like the referees counted down 25 and missed it. Like holding is a judgmental call, right? You could say, hey, does it affect the play or doesn't affect the play? A clock is not. That is a running clock. That is a delay of game. That is a 5-yard penalty. And I guarantee you, this week, you're going to see a lot of those called instantaneously. As soon as that clock hits, it's like half a 0. As soon as the 1 is turning into a 0, you're going to see the flag out. Because usually when this happens in the NFL, they always have a penalty that always, is blown up, whether it's pass interference, roughing the passer, using your head as a helmet with the running backs. Everything is usually emphasized, and then it'll go for like a week to show you, hey, yeah, we see it, and then it'll die down. I think that's going to happen with the play clock. You're not going to see that one beat that they usually give you, that one tick that where it goes to 1 and then 0. They clearly had more than one tick. That had 3 zeros on that clock for half a second. You could have ran into the negative times.
This wasn't the play clock though. This was the actual third quarter clock. The third quarter was over. That hit the third quarter clock hit 0, not the play clock. Well, this was the clock for the third quarter. So that's like there is no grace period. There is no little, like you were talking about, 1 second tick on that. 0 is 0. Once quarter's over.
I do. Should we do a buzzer like they do in hockey, where you hit the 20-minute mark and you'll burn? That way, that even if the play is up, burn, it's over. The play's dead.
I think it
Now
should
I
be.
guarantee you, real quick, real fast, just to
Go right
reply to
ahead.
what he just said.
Go right ahead.
If that, I believe, if this would have truly affected the game, we probably would be getting something like that installed. You know, they probably would be installing something to that effect. But since it didn't end up affecting the game, they're going to probably not worry about it until it happens again, and it does affect the football game, the result of a game, and then you might see something like that being instituted. But go ahead, Zion. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think you guys made a lot of solid points. I think it also comes down to human error. There's always going to be humans involved in this game. There's so much humans that it takes on the sideline to be involved in this game. And I also think when mistakes do happen like that, we should have an overseer, maybe like a guy that is in charge of overseeing the game that can throw a challenge flag in a sense that is just a league representative that doesn't have a bias on any team playing. So when he sees that one, the teams can't necessarily challenge it. The game is just, oh yeah, let's just move on. Let's just go into the fourth quarter. But then it's like, hold up, you guys clearly made a mistake that could have changed the outcome of this game. We've seen it a lot in Super Bowls and in recently calls that maybe could have changed some few things. But that being said, it all comes down to like human error, and I think the league is getting better on trying to remove the refs from the game period. But then at the end of the day, unless quantum computing and AI is here in the next 30 years, then we're really gonna have to deal with human error.
See, one of my biggest problems with it is though, like you said, it's okay to make a mistake. Like you said, human
Mm-hmm.
error. We're humans. We're not. None of us are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a correctable mistake. You just go
Yeah,
back and say, look, that play didn't
yeah,
count, you guys. The clock hit
I agree with
zero.
that.
That play doesn't count. It's still the start of the fourth
We
quarter,
have, yeah.
but you're way back here instead of the 44 yards down the field that play netted you because
Right.
that play shouldn't have counted.
There's a guy that easily moves the chains. There should be a guy that accounts for
Well,
mistakes like
and,
this from the
and
referees.
here's the thing, though. They have somebody in New York that can tell you if the play is good or not on challenges. They're talking in New York. They have a person. It's like the NBA. The NBA goes to New York and they go, "Is that a foul?" NBA gets all the big screen and they blow it up in their little NBA center. Like, no, it's not a foul. The way you can do this is one. There's somebody just watching the clock and buzzes the ref that no matter what happens, the play is dead. Right now, if he gets the play off like one and in the middle of it, the play clock goes down, fine, you can continue the thing. But if your ball is at rest, like it was, it's game. It doesn't matter. You have a break to challenge that play, and you could say, after further review, the clock struck zero. That play doesn't count. Now, yes, you'll get booed out the building. You'll get absolutely booed out the building. But at the end of the day, it's by the letter of the law, right? And you're following the letter of the law. So that's what I believe should happen if you're going to do that. Is they already do that on scoring plays where they go to New York. Why can't you have a guy like that to correct these mistakes going forward?
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man. But you guys got any more final thoughts on Thursday night's game, or we can get ready to move on?
My last point on the refs, real quick, is that I had a discussion with my friends over the summer time about baseball having electronic umpires for strikes and strikeouts, right, and things of that nature. There's human error in that. Human error involved. That's the whole part of baseball that you love. If we start to take that and use a machine and start to do that, we're going to lose some of um, that autonomy of the mistake, right? If we have a machine, that play never happens and never goes in the record books. Now, for Green Bay, it goes in the record books. That's great. But for going forward in the game, I think as if we can keep the refs out of the game as much as possible, but also keep them in the game where we're not having robots out there too much, doing a lot of stuff. That's what I still want to see.
Well said.
Good stuff. All right, fellas, we going. What's going on? No mess, no nest, no jets. Thanks for stopping in, bro. Appreciate you, man. But we gonna move on. We
Absolutely.
going. I'll lead the NFL for a minute, man. NBA has some big news this week. Big three-team trade involving the Blazers, the Suns, and the Milwaukee Bucks. The Dame Lillard is now a Milwaukee Buck. How you guys think about this move and maybe the rest of the trade?
Well, in honor of our fallen angel up there, who would be going bananas right now about this trade, he would be saying, "Why did Damian Lillard have to come to the Eastern Conference? Because the Nets are there, and we're never going to win a championship because now Damian Lillard is there." What I think this does to Milwaukee, which doesn't really need all the fire, doesn't need firepower, but now you're getting it. Now you have legit four guys on the floor that can give you at least 20 points a night. That is what that does for you now. And in the Eastern Conference is very easy. It's not like the Western Conference. You don't have to be. See, Portland would probably be maybe a 3 or 4 seed, a 2 or 3 seed in the East every year, the way they play. But because they play in the West, they're constantly the 6 seed, 7 seed in the middle rounds because they play those big teams. They play LeBron and the Lakers. They play the Golden State Warriors. They play the Phoenix Suns. They play all those big teams. Meanwhile, over in the Eastern Conference, you don't have to do much but get in Joel Embiid's head and then play the Boston Celtics, and they'll choke on their own. They'll choke on their own, playing, right? I mean, Boston had a chance to win, and now they can't. Now you have Milwaukee, who won a championship, by the way, and only has gotten better, okay? And you have the Greek Freak. You have I like his. I'm eluding the guy's name who's with him, 22. I can see it on the tip of my tongue. Who's the shooter on this team? You remember
Middleton.
Yes.
Talking about Middleton.
Yes. He's a phenomenal player. It's only going to make him better because now you have Damian Lillard who can bring the ball up the floor. He can be a 2 guard if you want. Put him off ball. You can do so many things with Damian Lillard. You know who Damian Lillard reminds me of? And I know people are going to get mad at me for saying this. He's like Allen Iverson. He is like Allen Iverson, the fact that he's a little guy that can do a lot of things, right? You can't always cover him. He's not necessarily a point guard, but he does play the point position well. And I think what it's going to allow them to do is going to allow them to run up and down the floor. It's going to allow them to spread the floor, which is going to give the Greek Freak a lot more opportunities in the low post to get points. When you have so many shooters out there, Middleton, you're going to have Lillard. You have the other guy, Porter, who's on the team. Right? If you have those 3 guys on the team right there, those guys can shoot the lights out the gym. And then you have Adetokounmpo underneath and doing what he needs to do. Listen, the reason the Greek Freak struggled is because they didn't have enough spacing. When you have spacing, a guy like him can't function and go in the low post and do what he's got to do. I've spoken enough, Zion. Have at it.
Yeah, thank you for covering that because I wasn't going to give these fans much, but absolutely. I'm disgusted. This is disgusting. Puke in my mouth. They're supposed to come to Miami, but yet you want to go to my Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not mad at you guys. I'm not mad at Milwaukee building a super team over there. I mean, you guys really needed him. I mean, you guys were perfectly fine without him. But, Giannis being one of my favorite players in the league and Dame being a guy that I really, wanted and I'm a fan of. You know what I'm saying? Just makes it tougher for Miami. Salutes to Milwaukee, but Adam said it perfectly. I believe it's still kind of it's a good statement move because I don't really necessarily believe that the 76ers is that strong of a team. Boston chokes. They're gonna be there, but they technically choke a lot, and I just think if we somehow have that underdog role again, because this is another season where we basically have the cap room, but we don't go and we don't capitalize on it, which is fine because I do believe that our developmental department in Miami is a top tier. We still have Hero on the team, which would have been a part of this trade, so that's good. He's young and he can shoot. We still got Bam. He's young, and I just believe that yes, Jimmy Butler is getting up there in age, and yes, it would have been nice to have another superstar beside him. Tyler Hero has a chance to become an all-star this year. Bam has a chance to remain an all-star, and Jimmy Butler just, is ending his career soon, maybe 1 or 2 more seasons, and hopefully we can bring a championship to Miami. And it's going to be tougher now because it's going to have to go through Milwaukee. They're going to be the team to beat at the end of it. But I'm just disgusted, man. This sucks. But yeah, go ahead.
Zion, I love how you can always take any NBA topic and make it about the Miami Heat, bro. I love it. I love how your ability to do that, bro. But let's talk about another player that was involved in this trade, man. Just how get y'all opinions on another player involved in this trade. See how you think he'll make out over there in Portland now. He's been kind of disappointing given his is very, very high draft status, obviously in Phoenix, and I think maybe they could see a change of scenery will be good for Deontay Ayton. So everyone won.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know what, Aiton, he's so disgusting at times, like, because he has the potential to be a really good center in this league. He kind of reminds me of like Mitchell Robinson. Nothing against these net fans, but Mitchell Robinson has the potential, and he just gets lazy and he just gets sloppy. And there's a difference when you can be LeBron James being his age and take defense off. That's LeBron James. But when you're Aiton, you don't take time off. You just see Aiton standing around. So hopefully, yes, get off the Suns because clearly, you I just hopefully Max said it perfectly. This new change of sceneries could actually realize that he could be a top 10 center if he wanted to. And I don't know why he takes time off when clearly it's not about stamina because this guy clearly, if he wants to try hard and play a full game, we clearly seen him do it. It's just, I think it's something to do with his mental. He just needs to go out there and ball, and hopefully this change of scenery we'll see that side of Aiton rather than the Aiton that just stands and looks at the basketball underneath the basketball hoop. Go right ahead, Adam.
You know what's interesting about that guy? When I was watching him, I thought he was going to be good. He had all the physical tools to be a great center. I mean, he technically was the guy that altered the Phoenix Suns' trajectory in the Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors. Had he played big and played up to his potential, they're going in to the championship. Instead, he came up small. Now, I don't think a change of scenery is going to help him out, and the reason I think it's not going to help him out is because when you get rid of a guy like this who has what I agree with you, some type of mental hurdle that he needs to get over, it's like James Harden. When you put that guy in a big spot, a tight spot, they don't come through for you. Yeah, they're cool. They look good on the regular season, and maybe they'll have a game or two. But then when push comes to shove, when you really needed the most, when you need to count on a guy to pull your ass out of the fire, they don't show up. They don't show up. And that's what Ayton is. He's a guy that should be that guy should be dunking on cats. There are cats I'm watching him get bodied by that are not even his size. You know why? Because they have better heart. It's not even about the mental game. You know what it is? It's heart. In the NBA, you want to be a good rebounder, it starts with heart. That's the most physical, demanding position in the NBA because you got to go out there and you got to put your body on the line more than anybody else. And you got to want to rebound. Dennis Rodman wasn't a good rebounder because he decided to be. He was a good rebounder because he knew exactly the trajectory of the ball, the way it flipped was going off the rim. He knew exactly what to put his body position in. You know why? Because he loved the damn game. He loved doing what he did, right? If you don't have heart in the NBA, it shows. You could be a 20-point scorer, but if you don't have heart, you're never going to win nothing. You're never going to win nothing. You're just going to be that guy that floats around team to team, hoping to win, hoping to get potential. He's going to end up, this is what's going to happen to him. He's going to be shipped off to the East Coast, Eastern Conference, dominate the Eastern Conference because there's nobody in the East that really can hang with him. And he'll look great. And then come playoff time when you have to meet the Milwaukees and the big teams, he's just not there. And I think this happens with a lot of our athletes in all sports is that we invest in guys that look the part, but don't have the part all the way or not really the player that we think they are. And we kind of either hang on to them or we cast them away. Usually when they cast away, you don't see it being a good thing. Like for me, if he went to like LA with LeBron and went over there, that might be a better situation because you don't have to be the man there. You go to Portland, you're the man. You're the guy. They're going to be counting on you. Can you get the job done?
Yeah, good. Well said, Adam and Zion both, man, on that one. Aiton, man, for me, I was a big fan of his coming out of Arizona, man. I really expected more from this young man coming into the league, and it's just been quite disappointing. So
that's the problem.
At this,
there aren't any tough guys in the league.
At this point here, and that's exactly why I left this question hanging. Great question. No mess, no nest, no jest. Name a tough big man in the NBA, because that's part of my. That's why I'm pretty sour on the NBA. It's just not the game that I grew up watching, man. Big men played down in the blocks, and they were nasty, and they did what they had to do. They did the dirty work, man.
Right.
And now these guys are like sitting out and hanging out on the perimeter, wanting to shoot threes and everything. It's just weird looking. And I don't get it twisted. I can respect the game and respect the evolution of the game. You know what I mean? And these guys are obviously still talented guys. Obviously, they have very good skill sets, but it's just not it's just not the game I grew up watching, not the game I grew up loving and enjoying, man. So it's not a change that I've come to accept. in the NBA. That's one of the reasons I'm sorry. There's just no. You don't get that good big man work. I'm a big guy. I want to see the big man work, and I don't get to see that anymore. They're just out there, like I said, hanging out on the 3-point line now, like they're point guards, like they're guards and
Well,
stuff. So
I'll
it's just
tell you
not the
why.
same for me. But
The problem is the coaching from the small of it, right? And also what the TV features, right? When you're a kid growing up, you want to be Michael Jordan. No one say, "Hey, let me go be Shaq," even though Shaq was a guy because all he did was dunk. You wanted to be the guy that was high flying, had the shoes coming out, all that. And so what happens is the same thing with the NBA, the NFL. Everybody wants to be a quarterback. Not everybody's good enough to be quarterback, but everybody wants to be the quarterback. Everybody wants to be the glory or the wide receiver. Nobody wants to be the lineman, the running back, the fullback. Nobody wants to be those positions because they don't get featured. Why? Because the TV doesn't put them on the cover. Who's on the cover of all the Madden games? Receivers, quarterbacks, all the skill position players. Rarely do have like
never been an old lineman. It's never been an
yeah,
old lineman. That's for
lineman.
damn sure.
You had Ray Lewis once. You had a couple of defensive players. You don't have an old lineman. No one's patting the table to be an old lineman. You just happen to be the biggest guy on the field, and the guy's like, "Well, you're going to play center today, kid." You know what I mean? And that's the same thing with basketball. Everybody wants, but you look at those kids in bitty basketball. They all want to shoot. They all want to be, let me be LeBron James, man. I want to be LeBron. I got his shoes on. I got his, headband on. My pants are all the way down to my ankles because, I'm LeBron James. I'm wearing extra large pants, So what I'm saying is that's what it is, Like, exactly. If Shaquem and Duncan were around here, none of these guys, first off, Embiid couldn't hang with any of those three guys that you just mentioned. Okay, Embiid would who kicked Bill? You know who would kick Embiid out the league? Bill Laimbeer. A guy like that, he would make that kid cry, crumble, take
My
that ball and go
God,
home. Bill
Bill
Laimbeer
Lambert
was
would
a
not be able to
nasty
play in
man.
today's NBA.
Okay,
He'd get
those
fined like
bad
every
boy
night.
Pistons would break this kid's back. That kid would not play he'd be on the injured list. He'd be sitting in a suit every week, every day, every game because he couldn't hang with Bill Laimbeer. Or even Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman's hitting people in the nuts and knocking them in the nuts going down court and shit. You have Charles Oakley. He lost it. He's got a couple screw loose who wants to fight with everybody. You had Grandmama, LJ, Larry Johnson. He wanted to beat up people. Hell, Charles Barkley and Shaq got into a fight. You know how that shit happened? We don't see a fight right now. We got guys who are like, oh, I'm on the DL for a fucking pinky. Give me a break. Okay, I want somebody to go down there. First they came in with Tumbo with their elbows. He used to elbow people, wave his finger in the air and get nasty. We don't got nasty guys. You know who we got, hey man, let me take a picture on my Instagram with you, man. High five, let's exchange jerseys because we're friends. Hey man, I'll catch you on the gram. You going to the club later? Yeah, I'll be there. That's what we got today. Oh, let me go play with you. Oh, let's play video games together. No, big men hated each other. NBA used to hate it. Michael Jordan hated players. He was like, I want to beat you. I don't want to join you. I want to beat you. These kids all want to be friends, and they all want to shoot. You're not Dirk Nowitzki. Know your role. You're 7'5". You're 100 something. You're 300 pounds. Get in the paint. That's what I mean. You know what it is? These coaches have no gravitas. They have no balls to say, yo, I'm going to play you like this, and you just grab rebounds and go out and do this. No. That guy, who's that guy? Zion Williamson? That guy should be under the rim. All you do is low post. That's it. Robert Tractor Trailer. You know what that guy did? That guy didn't shoot 3-pointers. He didn't get the name Tractor Trailer by shooting 3-pointers. Sorry.
Oh, shit.
Well, at least we have Jokic. He's one.
I mean, I don't know
Maybe not close to what your guys' day was, but absolutely facts. I love that, Adam. Never apologize for that. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know how we follow that up at all, man. Adam, that was very elegantly put, brother. And I mean, I agree with everything you said.
Jeffrey, right there. That was for Jeff, man. He would be coming out and he would be destroying these big men. So that I don't know where it came from. I think he was really coming out and saying, "Hey, Adam, say this," and here I am saying it.
I agree with everything, man. Like. That was awesome. That was totally awesome. You got anything else you want to add, Adam, Zion, before we move on, bro?
No, thank you. That's a definition of a premium take.
Absolutely. But Let's go. Let's switch gears back to college football a little bit, man. Colorado, man. Everybody's darling after the first couple of weeks of the season, and then they went out, played the best team they've taken on all season in Oregon a week ago, and they got absolutely destroyed. Do you think it's a little time for them to maybe start to panic as they're hitting the meat of their schedule now, big time conference play, and see what they're really stacked up, their backs up against, what they're stacked up? You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Take it away, Zion.
I think a lot of the nation, a lot of the celebrities, TV shows, main time media that don't really follow college football came out and obviously supported Colorado because what Dion was able to do with a one win team program. The first couple of weeks playing teams like TCU, playing Nebraska, going out there and even winning in double overtime against Colorado State. It got a lot of the nation, a lot of new college football fans really excited. It was kind of like you know, just just getting over excited for high down like it was just unrealistic expectations for this team. Okay. When it comes down to college football, the teams like the Georgias of the world, the Alabamas of the world, the Michigans of the world, it all comes down to the trenches, mostly like it does in the NFL. When you have teams like Georgia and Michigan, they can easily got like 9 to 12 offensive and defensive guys on the line that could easily rotate. And when you look at teams like Colorado, they have absolutely zero. So when you play teams like Oregon that is basically just going to dominate up front, it's really hard for you to even move the ball or do anything. It's fun to get to see a team like Colorado and see a young quarterback in Sanders go out there and perform in the first 3 weeks, throwing for records and doing all of that until you play with a team that is really about that winning lifestyle. I know a lot of the mainstream media was touching on the speech that Oregon's coach gave. It's just funny how like there's never a camera and all of a sudden there's a camera. So he gives that speech every time. Oregon is a 5-star organization for a reason. You know what I'm saying? They're no slump. And I think Colorado, I wouldn't say it's time to panic, but I would say there was never expected to win out. I had them at least losing 4 to 5 games this season because I just think it takes time to really build the college football program, especially in a conference where it's going to be destroyed at the end of the season, but with a conference that has now 7th ranking top 25 teams. It comes down to the transfer portal nowadays. It comes down to trying to build the team with that. And I think over time, Colorado will be fine. I think they're gonna come play. I'm not trying to get my team into this, but I think they're gonna play USC tough this weekend. It's tomorrow morning, 12 o'clock game if you live Eastern. That's gonna be a fun game for them. That's gonna be a game that they probably can move the ball against our defense. But it's a tough test for our defense to see if we can stop a legit offense because we're sloppy. We've been playing sloppy. But getting back to Colorado, I just think that it was too early for you guys to win anything. Colorado fans, like yes, you guys have Deion Sanders, and yes, he's a great coach. He's proven to be a great coach, but he just needs some time to get some pieces around him, and it wouldn't have made a difference if Hunter was playing in the game or not. You look at a team like Notre Dame that just almost beat Ohio State, literally should have won that game. They're going out there and they're playing Duke. You know what I'm saying? That's a team that can go against teams like Ohio State, can go against teams like Duke, even though Duke's shocking the nation right now, being as good as them. The long story short, I'm trying to say is Notre Dame didn't just build this team in 1 year. It took them years to build this team. And now Marcus Freeman can go out there and coach a team that can go right down to the wire with any team in the country. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to give the mic over to Adam. I'm saying it's not time to panic, but you guys are going to take some losses. You guys are going to get destroyed this year. But next year, when you guys have some free pieces, Colorado, you guys will slowly build it up. It takes time, and that's what I'm going to say. Go right ahead, Adam.
I don't think it's time to panic. But first, let's shout out to my man Bo Nix. I've been following him for a while. He's a guy I wanted on the radar for the Giants last year, but he stayed in 1 year. He's probably going to rise up draft board. Giants should pick him up. Sorry. Anywho, Colorado, I don't think it's time to panic yet, but this is what Deion Sanders does. He brings you the bravado to go in and play teams. Now, some teams will take that and use it as motivation, almost old school type of thinking. If you think about what Dion is, he's an old school kind of guy, right? When he came up and played in the game, as we talk about big men, tough guys, all that stuff, that was the bravado you had to go in there. You had to go in with a swagger, thinking you could beat everybody, anytime, anywhere, any place. And I think TCU got a team that they overlooked and didn't think that they were going to beat them, and they got whacked. And then the next week against Nebraska, again, probably didn't think that their speed would be a problem, and they did it. And then you meet a team like Oregon, who has national title hopes, playoff hopes, right? They've been pretty good for the last few years. Last year, they didn't. I think they went to the playoffs, but they didn't get to the national title. They were a good team. So when you bring in guys, and I think they have 86 new players on Colorado or something like that, their entire roster's new. You got to gel. You got to give time to this. And this is why the game of football is so fun, especially the college football. I've gotten back into it a little bit more because of how it's just structured now and what you see and how diverse it is. I mean, the other day I was watching games on what was it? It was Monmouth College. There was a guy doing Monmouth games in my area, and that's a school in my state. And I'm just like, they're like, oh, this guy's going to be playing on Sundays. And I'm like, look at this D3 prospect or D1 AA prospect on Monmouth who doesn't get any burn, but guys are knowing about it. So this is what college football is about. So Colorado, just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride, really, because, we think the Sanders kid is not coming out this year. Dion said no, but we'll see. You never know. Things could change. But if he's staying with you, then you got him. You got his other son on the other side. You got a defense that knows how to gel. You believe in the system already. The culture's very changed, right? He didn't give anybody names on the back of their jersey. They had to earn it, right? So a culture is changing there. So be happy. You won a few more games than you did last year. The season's not over for you guys. It's college football. And when you have a program that's developing, you want to get experience, and that's what you're doing. You're building a program. You want to win. You want to bring. Think of college football as a showcase, right? Now that you have a transfer portal, what can your school do for me, right? How can you get me to the next level? How can you make me better? How can you get me endorsement deals now that they have the endorsement deals in college? And when you start to see that culture being built by a guy like Deion Sanders, who walks around with bravado and is building this team up, eventually you'll get the players. Eventually, Colorado will be fighting, in the playoffs, deep in the playoffs, and maybe fighting for a national championship one day. Who knows?
Great job, guys. Very well said. Yeah, as far as the panic thing, man, look, this was the question presented, but at the same time, there's definitely no reason to panic because honestly, what are you panicking for? Anything you do at this point is just still a continued bonus in the progression of this program. This is a one-win team a season ago. One damn win. They already have three. Look, the expectations realistically shouldn't have been very high anyway. So it's like, what's the reason to panic? You didn't really think Colorado was going to be in the playoffs. I mean, you couldn't really believe that. I mean, based off of what you know about this team, Deion Sanders took over. He took this team over, and he's already, gotten some good new pieces in there, some good foundational pieces. But at the end of the day, still a lot more work to do with this roster, and he's going to continue to do it. And like Adam said, it's going to take a couple of years. This is not going to be something that's going to happen right away. It's not going to be instantaneous. And they're gonna have some bumpy rides, man, the rest of the way here. I mean, USC tomorrow is going to be a very, very tough matchup for this Colorado team. Yeah, I agree with you said, Zion. They may be able to move the ball on USC's defense, but I'm not sure this defense is going to be able to hold up against USC's high-powered offense. That's where the things they could go off the rails a little bit for this Colorado team. But the good thing, like you said, with all the bravado Deion Sanders brings to the table, man, people are going to want to go play for Colorado. Some of the top high school players in the nation are now going to want to sign up and be a Buffalo going forward, man, in their college career, just because they want to go there and be under the tutelage of Coach Deion Sanders, man, one of the best to ever do it. So they got a lot of good things coming their way. It's just that right now, it's just they're not there yet. And yes, big TCU game week 1 was a big, and Nebraska was another big one prior to that TCU win. Probably a lot of people had chalked that up as a Nebraska W as well. So this team's already overcome some things this season, and I think that it kind of got a little spiraled out of control a little bit, and people just kind of raised the expectations of this football team, and kind of forgot the reality of what they truly are and what they'll be facing against the rest of this season, man. But yeah, definitely no need to panic in Colorado, man. This team is headed in the right direction. It's just not going to happen this year. But
And I'll just say real fast before we move on, it's like we all want the Cinderella story. We all want, part of us wanted to see them come out there and compete against Oregon, but when it comes down to rosters and the competition, there's levels to this shit. And obviously they'll be in good hands. Deion Sanders has been proven to be a winning coach. I believe this is only his son's seventh loss is an entire career of playing quarterback. So he clearly is a winner, and this program will be all right. So if I'm Colorado, exactly what Mac and Adam says, I'll be ecstatic. Any win is and you guys are already 3 times better than you was last year. You know what I'm saying? So anything, just enjoy the ride because it's gonna be fun. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely, really well said. All right, we're gonna get back to the NFL here a little bit. We're gonna recap some of our picks from a week ago. Adam, man, you want to take the floor
So,
on this one?
so I just want to say, while I laughed in your face week 1, I will get egg on my face in week 3. As I am taking up the rear, we will go from last to first. Me being last, I was 7-8. Not a very good week for me. Picked a lot of games that weren't very good. Zion was in second place at 9-6, and Mac, the Mystic Mac, the name that is out there. I hope he put some shekels on some of these games. He went 12-3, ladies and gentlemen. 12-3. Mac, you are doing good. I don't have our
Let's
records.
go.
I don't have our records for the entire year, but 12-3 is what it is. I think Zion has those records. Will correspond at some point to add these win totals to our total throughout the year, as we will eventually have a wager going. We want to have the top dog. So Mac, if you so eloquently put, we're going to give Mac the floor, the FaceTime. I don't know how you can make him number one, or there you go. There he is. He's in the center of your attention. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mac. 12-3 in the picks last week. Well done. He
I
picked the
mean,
stunner. He picked the stunner. We will start with that stunner. The stunner of the game. He put the clip up. Mac, do you have that clip ready for the folks? Do you have that clip
I
ready for
do
the
had
folks?
I do, and why not play? I'm dialing it up, baby. I'm dialing it up right now. The upset special of the week.
What?
This is the upset
I put
special
in
of the week.
Dallas.
I'm dialing
You're
it
really
up.
going to think, oh my God.
Arizona, because this is what Dallas does occasionally, man. They do it about 2 or 3 times a year, man. They'll go play a team like this, and they will drop the ball completely, man. I'm dialing it up. I know I sound crazy as shit right now. The Arizona Cardinals win this football game.
Well, Mac, I have to now erase everything, and it just deleted all the pics because my computer
I
went
thought our
haywire.
Washington pick was good.
Because
He just blew it
my
out of the
computer is
park.
crashing right now because you just picked the Arizona Cardinals. They won't even let me put Arizona in. I can't believe you did that. Ridiculous.
Yes,
Well
I
done.
did that a week ago.
That's why we're giving him the FaceTime he deserves. So while we are talking about that game, Mac, let's get your thoughts on the game since you picked it. You are the winner. You will lead off today on some of our recaps. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the fun part of our evening will happen where we get to pick the games again and see who will be the leader for week number 4. Mac, you have the floor.
Well, I mean, this game was. It was just kind of like I kind of knew it was going to happen. The Dallas Cowboys, like, notorious for it. Notorious for just having clunkers, like a couple of clunkers like that every season, man. Against teams like the Cardinals, a team that they should have won out. Like, if they played the Cardinals this Sunday, they probably beat them 40-0, like they did the Giants. But last week, they decided to go in there lazy. They decided to go in there and I look past the Cardinals. Apparently, probably were already looking forward to whoever they're playing this week.
Patriot.
Patriots, yeah, absolutely. And then so they just didn't. They went out there and they played a clunker. Defensively, it was bad. Offensively, it was bad. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys went out there and they just looked like they didn't like the team that they've shown the first couple of weeks of the season. They went out there and looked like a bad football team. It wasn't a good look. The pass rush wasn't hitting quite the same. Joshua Dobbs was pretty comfortable most of the day. He was serving them up. Everybody was running. James Conner ran wild on that defense. Joshua Dobbs had some nice runs in that game. The Rondale Moore had a big touchdown running that game as well. This Dallas, they just looked like they just weren't ready to play a football game out there, and the Cardinals gave them everything they got. And for everybody to talk about the Cardinals is tanking, that's not a team that's tanking. That's a team out there giving it everything they got. They played 3 very tough, hard-nosed games this season, man. I mean, yeah, sure, we can talk about the debacle against New York in week 2, but at the end of the day, this team has been scrapping all season. They're not a team going out there looking like they're trying to lose or wanting to lose. They saw how ecstatic they were when that clock hit 0 on Sunday. You would thought they won a Super Bowl because obviously this team ain't sniffing nowhere near the playoffs this season or let alone a Super Bowl. But that was a big one for them in that moment, man. So hats off to the Cardinals, Dallas Cowboys, man. You got to wake the hell up because you're way too talented of a football team to be dropping games like that.
Well,
that's all I have to say about that.
That is great. That's why we gave him the floor. Right now, Zion, you'll be getting the floor because, my man, you also deserve some props for picking the Houston Texans the other day. So you picked the Houston Texans. If I can get you back here, I don't know how to get you to be number one. Good. I'm messing everything up right now.
You're good.
Messing shit up. How do I make you need to be? I don't know how to make you number one. So we're going back like this.
It's fine. This is
before because you picked Houston over Jacksonville. I did not pick Houston. I was not. I don't think I was correct. Was I correct? Let me look at the recap. I was not correct picking that game. I picked Jacksonville like a bum on the Trevor Lawrence. Goldilocks failed me again. So have the floor, Zion. Explain your thoughts on why you picked Houston and what an upset it was.
First of all, you're not a bum. You're absolutely not a bum. And I think the Princess Promised still has a chance to be MVP. I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars has a chance to really go up there and go upset the Falcons now. We have the Falcons sitting all high and mighty.
Not really an upset though.
Not really, but get it right, should I say. The reason why I did take the Texans is I just looked down to the division game. They're coming off of a loss against the Chiefs, and I was looking at the way that CJ Stroud was playing. I believe that D'Amico Ryan was in every game he played this year, outside of the game kind of getting away from him, and they played the Colts. But I just felt like Houston, was going to play the Jacksonville physical, was going to play them tough. And coming off of the game against the Kansas City Chiefs, you go and, it's not no easy division game. And I just had D'Amico Ryan for some reason. I felt that he was going to go out there and show why he's soon, he's going to become a coach one day. It's going to take time. This team is young, but I just had a feeling with him and going out there, and he proved it. He proved why he deserves to be a head coach. It's only one win. That's the only win he has on ever being head coach. But at the end of the day, I kind of get some Dan Campbell in him. You know what I'm saying? Like I believe that his players are gonna fight for him when he gets a team together. And I know Will Anderson came out there and had a pretty decent game. So yeah, let's get it to Texans.
Well, CJ Stroud having a career game does also help. See, that's what it means. I think the Panthers may be regretting their decision with picking that player. So that's the few. Let's see what game I got right that I'll focus on over here that might be interesting. That game. How about the Rams game? Okay, I'll do that. The Rams won the game on Monday Night Football, and as we know,
the Bengals won.
Oh, the Bengals won? Oh, yes. Sorry. The Bengals won. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong thing. The Bengals won the game. I think the Bengals are back. That's what they do. Remember last year they went 0-2. Oh, my God, the house is falling in. The Bengals. Guess what? This is what they do. This is how they do it. They don't play the preseason. They come back and they play. Joe Burrow's a little banged up. He started to show a little bit about more Joe Burrow. They started to get Jamar Chase the ball again. And you started to see what you can do. I mean, a guy was getting pressured. That Rams defense still has Aaron Donald on it. We forget about that, but he still plays. He's still a world class athlete, and I think Cincinnati has really saved their season to me. At 0-3, don't think they had a chance to make the playoffs, but now in that division, I know that the Browns are 2-1. I know that the Pittsburgh Steelers are 2-1. You know, the Ravens are 2-1. They saved themselves because now they're 1-2, and they're still a game in the division, right? They're still in the race. So big win for them. Big getting off the schneid. Rams are an interesting team. They have some talent. They're not going to lose. They're one of those 50-50 teams. I know Giant fans probably circled that as a W on our calendars, but they will be a tough out just because they play decent football. Now they will turn it over, and these are games that you hope that you can win. But the Bengals are back. I'm glad they're back. Let's see if they can continue to improve. I think they needed this win to kind of exhale a little bit, because everyone's talking about Joe Burrow and, oh my God, what's happening? He can't do. He's got to get a new haircut and all this stuff. And now here we are. They're back in the race, and I think they're going to win a few more games. Guys, anything else?
I just want to say I'm glad that Matthew Stafford got this game out of his bag early. There's always that game where Matthew Stafford goes and just like I get it. Sometimes it comes down to the picks off of the receiver's hands, but there's games where Matthew Stafford would just not have a good game. You know what I'm saying? And this was one of them. But the Rams have shown to literally they stopped Cincinnati's one game and they forced Bell to be back there in the pocket, applying pressure to him. And they're soon to activate Cooper Kupp back on the roster. And then you got Puka doing Puka things. So I just think I'm just happy because I think the Rams have the opportunity to take this loss, put it in the bag, and go out there. Because Sean McVay and this team right now have a feeling that they're going to be a double-digit win team. And everybody had the Rams like finishing after 28, 29, 38. Some of them had finished in the last team in the league because of the roster. But I believe when you have core pieces like Aaron Donald, like Matthew Stafford, and like Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp didn't even take a snap at it. And what's with the Rams just turning wide receivers into just, like this guy was literally injured at the combine, the announcer was saying. So that's why he didn't run fast. So that's why he fell to the 5th round. And then that's why the Rams took him. So this Puka kid, I just want to take this time to say, damn, salute to that kid. Because when a team's going to know how to just got to pressure him on the line and make physical contact. Because he's getting these 9 routes like nothing. So that being said, 9 yards like nothing. But that being said, I do believe that the Rams is going to be a tough out for teams this year, and it's not just a guarantee win for the Giants, like Adam said.
One more thing too, just for week 3 before we move on. I just wanted to add, luckiest man this week is whoever the Denver Broncos defensive coordinator is. Shame on you for allowing a team to dial 70 up on you. That's absolutely.
I'm mad they didn't go for 73.
One of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen. Look, I get it. As a Giant fan, we lost 40-0 week 1 against the Cowboys at home, 40-0, and we still didn't lose by as much as you guys lost by.
50
That's
points.
ridiculous. Lose by 50 points. To say that you're going to score 20 points and then you still lose the game by 50 in the NFL, that's insane to me. I have no idea how this man still has a job after that. Because honestly, you're getting fired immediately. If I have the powers to be in Denver, like no.
Well,
Can't have that. Yeah, you can't. It's ridiculous.
That's fast.
Their new ownership, listen, man, we should touch on that game. 70 points is a lot of points. I mean, that's a college score. Now, I heard somebody say they could have went for 73 and they decided to kneel. I would have went for 73. I'm that guy who's like, well, I may never be here again. I want to put my name in the record book forever. That immortalizes you. Not that they wouldn't be immortalized anyways, because one of the highest scoring games ever, but if you're the guy who scored 73 and the most points ever scored in an NFL game, Mike McDaniels and the Tua Tagovailoa led Dolphins, that's something I would want to put my name in. We need to, when records are there to be broken, sometimes you got to go take that record, regardless of how it makes it look on the other side. Sometimes you go, listen, man, if I'm hitting for the cycle, I'm going to keep going. If I'm able to get that record, I'm going to take it. Mike McDaniels, I know what you're doing. You're being nice, but to me, I would have been like, set the field goal unit out. Let's go.
Yeah. But with that being said, man, let's Let's get ready to get it to week 4, man.
Dial it
It's
up
that
for week
time.
4. Okay, let's go. 12-3. I'll just leave the records up here, but I won't leave the teams up here because they're all new teams. So let's do this. Let me get my list out here, people. Slow on TV. I'm sorry. This is what happens when you do live TV and you're trying to copy and paste and delete. Okay, all three names, all three records. Here we go. Week number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, week number 4, we are going to start with the 1 o'clock, well, the 9 a.m. games, I should say, not the 1 o'clock games, but the 9 a.m. games. I think 9 a.m. Okay, so when you're having your breakfast and you're waking up with that coffee, Zion may be sleeping at 6:30 his time, 9:30 our time. You get to watch on
I will
ESPN.
be up because I'll be watching it on Disney.
On Disney Plus, you get to watch the Toy Story version of this game or the real regular version of the game, the Atlanta Falcons against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, will Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars right the ship, or will the Atlanta Falcons march on? Mac, since you are the winner, you shall lead us off.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville does win this game. I think they rebound over in London. This is a place Jacksonville is quite familiar with playing. I mean, and they play there. Jacksonville plays there every damn year. It seems like it's a home game for them. They get the crowd behind them, and I think Jacksonville will figure out a way to take out the Atlanta Falcons in this one. Just coming off an ugly loss, I think Doug Peterson has his team ready to go this week, and I think they take care of business.
You have the Jags. Okay, Zion,
I do.
my friend.
Although I want to see Arthur get his night a crown hood, I'm just gonna go with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Falcons and their explosive offense is gonna come off sloppy. I think this is good right down to the wire, and I just think I don't see Jacksonville losing 3 straight weeks in a row. Their playoff hopes are dangling right now, and this is a team I had them easily represented in the playoffs. So that being said, I think they right the ship and get it in here.
Man, I don't really know who to pick because I don't know if the word fraudulent should be coming out for the Atlanta Falcons. Are they frauds? Are they real? We'll find out. I don't think they're for real. I think Jacksonville goes to their second home in Wembley Stadium and wins their game over. I think they're in London, right? In London, I think
Yeah.
Wembley is where they're trying to
Yep.
move that team. Don't let Roger Goodell fool you. He's trying to move a team to London, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, even though they got a new stadium, are the team he's looking at. So if I were you, Denver, I'd be careful. Well, that concludes our morning games. Let's get into the real wake up, have your lunch with a beer and some chicken wings games. First on the docket, probably the game of the afternoon. The high flying Miami Dolphins go into Buffalo to take on the almighty Buffalo Bills. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Zion, who do you have?
Yeah, I don't think the Bills have the offense. I'm sorry, I don't think the Bills have the defense to stop Miami here. I think Miami is just gonna play an explosive game again, and you got to think about it. They put 70 points up without Waddle. Can that just sink in? I just think that Mike is showing why he's a genius. And I think they continue rolling. I did have Buffalo Bills kind of taking a dip this season, even though they're winning good football games against mediocre teams. But that being said, I just think this is the change of the guard for me. I think Miami is the team that is to beat right now. I think Miami's the best team in the NFL, and I don't see the Buffalo Bills beating Miami. So I'm gonna go at Miami.
You have the Dolphins. Mac?
Mm-hmm.
Miami Dolphins they are looking like an elite team for real. Legitimately, defense is
I think
clicking.
there's a butt coming.
Offense is rock and rolling.
Ah!
But there is a but coming, and it's the Miami Dolphins divisional play. It seems to be lacking a little bit more lackluster than when they take on the rest of the league for one reason or another. I'm not sure what the weather's going to be up in Buffalo, but it's October now. It'll be October 1st for this game. Get that October Buffalo weather kicking in. I'm not really sure, man. This Miami team, they put up 70 points a week ago. I mean, everybody saw that. So they put the league on notice a little bit. That means they're going to get everybody's best shot. This Buffalo Bills team, I think they won a close one against the Miami Dolphins on Sunday, man, up in Buffalo. I
Buffalo
think they
Bills.
win like a game-winning field goal type of situation or something to that effect. But I like the Buffalo Bills here in a close one.
Well, I'm going to take a page out of my favorite announcer's playbook and say nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. And what's going to happen is Buffalo's defense is going to come to play. They damn near shut out the Commanders. Should have been a shutout. The little shitty field goal at the end doesn't mean a damn thing to me. And I think they're going to. I'm just going to go with Mac, and I'm going to go get me some buffalo sauce, some buffalo wings, because I'm going with the Buffalo Bills this week. Okay. Now that we've gone with the first game, here's another game, a battle of the losers. And actually,
Somebody gets a W.
some losers that we actually like. You never know, they could end in a tie, Mac. That would be insane. Minnesota, Carolina. I know you're thinking about the other 0-3 teams that I'm going to mention in a few minutes, but we'll go with Minnesota, Carolina. I will go first. Lucky me. I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to get their first W of the year. I think they're due for a win. I think the rebuild of Carolina is legit. I mean, they did hang with the Seattle Seahawks for a little bit, but they clearly have some things that they need to shore up. Ike Ekwonu is terrible. So I'm going to go with the Purple People Eaters and take the Minnesota Vikings. I'm probably going to be wrong. They're probably going to be 0-4, and Kirk Cousins will be traded to the next doormat under the sun. But I'm taking Minnesota. Mac?
I agree, Adam. Minnesota Vikings here. I think Kirk Cousins is going to tear this Carolina Panther defense up. I think Justin Jefferson is just going to have a huge day. And I like Minnesota here. I just think even though these are two 0-3 football teams, I think Minnesota is a better 0-3 than the Carolina Panthers are right now.
Zion?
I do agree. I mean, like you can't do anything without O line, and Panthers are struggling beyond more than the O line. Even though they have a really good coaching staff, it's going to take some time. I see Minnesota coming up with the win.
Minnesota. We're all in agreement of the Minnesota Vikings. Next 0-3 game, which may end in a tie because these teams are both trash. The Denver Broncos and the Chicago Bears. If I were them, I would lose because you're going to try to get Caleb Williams anyways. So the battle for Caleb Williams begins on Sunday at 1 p.m. in Chicago. Zion, who do you have?
You know, part of me wants to take Sean Payton, but I just think the Bears are going to beat the Broncos, man. I mean, like this team doesn't look like they want to play right now, and it's not because they don't want to play for Sean Payton. I would want to play for Sean Payton. It's just that they don't look like they want to play football right now. Like, come on, bro. And it's not even only about the 70. I mean, like they easily, they can't finish games week 1, and then they get demolished. So it's kind of like until proven otherwise, the Bears are gonna go out there. Tremaine Edmonds are gonna play tough defense. And can this offense move? This is the question we're having right now. Can this offense move the ball against that Bears defense? My answer is no. It's going to be a close game, but the Bears are going to come up on top.
Mac?
I definitely agree, Zion, brother. I agree with you, man. I just think these are two really bad football teams right now. I expected a little more from both of them, actually, coming into this season, into this year, and they're disappointments, man. But I just think at home, Chicago, I think Justin Fields puts together a decent game for whatever reason. I just see that happening against this Denver Bronco team that just can't get out of their own way. And I think Chicago gets a W here, man.
Well, I'm going to go with the opposite team because even though this team got railroaded by 50 points, they also didn't get crushed like the Chicago Bears did in their game. So I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos to at least put up 20 points. And the Bears, who Justin Fields is struggling throwing the football at his own teammate's helmet, I don't know if I could trust him right now. So, yeah, that's right. That's right, Nomets. Are you listening to me? I just criticized the quarterback that wasn't named DJ. Just so you know, I'm going with the Denver Broncos and their crappy offense, the Broncos. Okay, moving right along. The next game, a good one. Battle of the North, AFC North. Baltimore 2-1 against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. I'll start. I am going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to go with the Browns. The dog pound is in full effect, and it comes out this Sunday. Mac?
Yep, I'm with you right there. I mean, I don't know this Baltimore team. It's not even just about losing to the Colts last week with Gardner Minshew at the helm. It's just something's not sitting right with this Baltimore Ravens team. This offense is not as fluid as I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be absolutely explosive. They had some good receiving playmakers out there, and for some reason, it's just not seeming to come together, man.
Not yet.
And even with the defense, the defense is also like it's been a weird season. This Baltimore team, man, sitting at 2-1, they the way they've played, they could just as easily been 0-3 coming to this game, man. It's been pretty ugly football down there in Baltimore. I think the Cleveland Browns are going to come out and kind of just pound the ball at them, run the ball at them. And Deshaun Watson, I mean, he came alive a little bit last week, had his best performance as a Cleveland Brown, and if he can keep ascending, and get back to that anything remotely like he used to be in Houston, yeah, I think Cleveland wins this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with both of you guys. I think Jackson's gonna be running for the wrong reasons. Like this defense is for real. Yeah, they had a stumble against the Steelers, but that's a division rival. Kind of think that they overlooked the Steelers. Looking not that they did, but like it's kind of like we was all praising the Browns defense, and it would be the Browns to go out there and do that against the Steelers. But then look at them ever since that loss. You know what I'm saying? I get it. It was against the Bengals in week one, but they proved again lethal against the Titans. And you may ask who is the Titans, but Max said it perfectly. It's not like the Ravens out here playing good football. I think Miles Garrett proved something again. This guy is one of the best rushers of the football. You know what I'm saying? Of the quarterback, you guys get the edge rushers in the league. You know where the whole world is talking about. Michael Parsons is like, hello, my name is Miles Garrett. And I say Miles Garrett comes out there and has a big game for the Browns. Defense shows up, proving why they're again right up there at the Lions and the Saints in that second tier defenses, and might even proven why they deserve to be among the best defenses in the league. So I think it's going to be a close battle, but the defense is going to show up on top for the
Yeah.
Browns. I have the Browns. Yeah.
Long-winded Ander Browns. I just want to say something that's interesting that I was looking at. Oregon played their first game against Portland State University, and they beat them 81-7. 81-7. Just put that into perspective. That is a beatdown and a half. And I have a question coming up.
Real fast. Before you let's go deep down the rabbit hole. So Portland, the Oregon won 80. What was it? 81-7, right?
Yes.
Now that same Portland team just beat a team in week 2, 91-0.
Crazy to think that. Anywho, we went off a little tangent there. Let's get right back on that train. That is the NFL season. I do have a trivia question coming up for a team in the later games. Right now, Houston versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Interesting game. I think I'm going to go with Pittsburgh here just because I think their defense is playing well, and I think they'll give the young quarterback some fits. Even though I like C.J. Stroud, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers come out on top. Zion?
Yeah, as much as I picked Houston last week, I love TJ Watt, I love Minka. I gotta go with the Steelers, man. They're a fun watch. I'm going with the Steelers. Too much to handle.
Mac?
Yeah, I like the Pittsburgh here as well. I think Houston's coming off a big win against Jacksonville a week ago, but I don't see it happen. I don't see them putting two back to back like that, two big wins like that back to back. So I definitely like the Steelers here this week.
Well, you know what they say. That's why they play the game. So we'll find out.
I would
game,
say CJ Stroud might throw his first pick here.
and well, if you're a FanDuel guy, maybe you should put some shekels on that. But we don't condone or deny that. If you like FanDuel or FanDuel, you can plug us, Premium Takes, or DraftKings. Maybe you want to do what Zion said and see if they get an interception. Anyways, next game. LA versus the surprisingly 2-1 Indianapolis Colts against the LA Rams. It's in Indianapolis. I am kind of a loss for words, so I'll let you guys go first. Mac, what do you have in this game?
First of all, did anybody know about the quarterback situation here?
Yeah, I
What you
believe
call it back?
Richardson is going to be playing, I think.
Richardson is
It
back
doesn't matter. They win
playing.
with Gardner anyways.
Here the Rams, Colts, man. See, here's the Colts. The Colts have really sneaky good defense people don't talk enough about. And I feel like and then the Rams they've been showing some signs of being pretty explosive offensively. I mean, not last week, not Monday night so much, but I think these are two teams that are playing a lot better than probably most people thought heading into this season, man. And the Colts have been really, really scrappy. I like the Colts here as well. I think I agree with the chat. I like the Colts here as well.
Colts for Mac. Okay, Zion.
I think that the Rams got held back last week. They wanted to put up a lot of points and they couldn't against the Bengals. And I see them, exposing. I do agree at Mac that the Colts does have a good defense, but I just see Puka doing Puka things, Higby doing Higby things. I have the Rams winning big here. I don't know why, but Matthew Stafford is going to redeem himself. And I am actually don't condone gambling, but if you want to gamble a bit, I would take Matthew Stafford on DraftKings this week if you play multiple lineups.
I don't know who to pick. It's a toss-up. It's one of those pick 'em games. But since I'm an AR-15 kind of guy, I think he gets his first win. So I'm going to go with the Colts and their big W as they march on in the AFC South. All right, now moving right along to another team tied for their top spot in the South Division, Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. It looks like David Carr probably will not play here, which is a very important aspect for the New Orleans Saints. They are a totally different team when he plays. I'm going to go with the Baker Mayfield-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. I know I may be stupid, but I think the Buccaneers, had some chances against the Eagles last week, but just blew it because they're inexperienced against them. But that's who I'm picking, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree.
I like
Go ahead,
Jameson. Go ahead, Zion.
Oh no, I was just make
I
it
like
short.
Jameson Williams. Jameson, go ahead, bro.
No, go.
Mac, just take it.
Jameis Winston, man. I think he comes out with this week, man, because I believe you're right. Derek Carr, I believe, is out. I'm not sure the extent of his shoulder injury, but I think he comes out, has a big game against his old team, Tampa Bay. I think I think just New Orleans defense is going to be a little too much for Baker Mayfield to handle down there in that dome, and I think that the New Orleans Saints win this football game.
Zion?
All right, my bad. I do want to agree with Adam here. Now I do think that I like that revenge thought process, and of course the Saints do have one of the best defenses in the league, I would say. But at the end of the day, I do believe that the Eagles, the reason why I believe Tampa wins this game is because they just played the Eagles, and I think they're gonna come out here and play the division rival tough and sneak off it like a field goal at the end.
The Bucks. So me and Zion in agreements. Mac, the Mystic. You might want to listen to him, folks. Again, we don't condone gambling here, but if you are on one of those FanDuels, DraftKings, or whatever, you might want to listen to Mac. He was 12-3 last week. Meanwhile, my dumbass was 7-6 or 7-9 or something like that. So you damn well don't want to take me. So Zion or Mac are the guys you want to listen to. Moving right along here, though. We're getting into the last couple 1 o'clock games here. Washington versus Philadelphia. Mac, who do you got? Don't say it, man.
I got the Philadelphia Eagles. Oh! No, I can't say it. I got the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not seeing the upset love this week. I know Washington was the first team to knock the Eagles off a year ago. I think this team coming off of a huge loss against Buffalo. I don't see them rebounding against this Philadelphia Eagle team, unfortunately, man. I think it'll be a competitive game. I think it'll be a tight game, a fun NFC East matchup. But I think Philadelphia gets the job done here.
Philadelphia Eagles. Zion? Zion, you're muted.
Sorry again for being mute. I agree with Mac. I do, but I don't agree with the score. I think the Washington Commanders, have played really tough teams this year, but not really like the Eagles. Outside of Buffalo, they really haven't played anybody. I have the Eagles getting right here. Like, this is the get right team.
Getting right, they're 3-0.
They're 3-0, but they ain't been playing Eagles defense. They ain't been playing Eagles what we think they're gonna be. Watch them come and whoop that ass this weekend. I'm sorry. I apologize, awesomeness. I know you're a Washington fan, but my God, it's gonna be violent out there.
Well, I'm gonna go with the team from the dirty Philadelphia area as the Philadelphia Eagles keep the train rolling. I think they started to come together last week against the Bucks. You started to see more of that Eagle team that we saw last year, and I think they put poor Sam Howell in a blender this week and eat him for lunch. Okay, moving right along. We all picked the Eagles. Wow, the first unanimous pick of the evening. The next game.
Zion picked Washington, didn't he?
No, he picked Philadelphia.
Nah,
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were. You said all that. I thought you were picking Washington when you said all that, bro.
Sweep. He tricked you with his soliloquy before picking his team. He wanted to lull you to sleep and then attack you like the Eagles defense does. But getting right onto it. The next games: Cincinnati versus the Tennessee Titans. Oh, that's how I feel about this game. I'm going to go with Cincinnati because they're my second favorite team of all time. That was pointed out so eloquently by my friend a few months ago in my chat. So the Bengals, there we go. Joe Burrow, Joe Cool, Joe Mr. Haircut beats the Tennessee Titans and Ryan I Stink Tannehill. Mac, who do you got?
I'm going opposite here with you, man. The Cincinnati Bengals team did win Monday night. You know, Joe Burrow had, more like Joe Burrow like numbers to an extent, but it just wasn't really still that same. It wasn't. I don't know. I still didn't get that same vibe like I've gotten from this team the last couple of years, man. And T. Higgins, he's still not getting T. Higgins involved, which is really bothering me for my fantasy team. But it's okay, Joe. I mean, it's okay. It ain't about my fantasy team, Joe Burrow.
I like to point out he's trying. T. Higgins.
It is about your fantasy team.
You got to get the ball to T. Higgins, man.
Don't
a little bit
lie.
More too, man.
Listen, Mac.
T. Higgins had like 4 drops last game. He's
Joe Burrow, if you're listening, get in T. Higgins' ass. My man Mac wants to win again. He is the reigning champ. You guys don't understand how good this guy is up here. He's Mr. Humble Pie up there, but he's really the champ. There's belts hanging from that wall somewhere, or trophies in his case somewhere. I'm the ugly sweater guy. He's the fantasy football guy. Anyways, Zion, your pick.
I think Mac had something else to say about Fasta.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I'm good. I mean, I picked Tennessee. I think they coming off the big loss a week ago. I think they rebound, run that ball with Derrick Henry.
King Henry.
I don't know, man. It's like puke in my mouth when I think about Tennessee. I'm gonna go to Cincinnati.
Puke in my mouth when I.
They have so much weapons, but yet nothing.
You might want to clip that because puke in your mouth in Tennessee. He sounds like he's a bird, ladies and gentlemen. Puke in the mouth. Okay. Moving right along to the 4:00 games. We're going to start in the Bay Area, in the California West Coast area. We're going with LA Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Doesn't have the same ring to it, but I will say this. Jimmy G is in concussion protocol, so I'm going to go with my man, Justin Herbert, who threw for 400 yards last week. I guess you guys don't know what good quarterback play is, but that is good quarterback play. I'm going with the LA Chargers in this game. Mac?
I'm taking the Chargers because the Raiders just aren't very good. And
The Raiders aren't very good.
I don't know anything else to say. Really, they're just not.
Raiders are caca, and I know who Zion's got, but I'll let him have the floor.
Yeah, puke in my mouth when it comes to the Raiders. Caleb's sweepstakes when it comes to that team. I'm going to Chargers. Fire the coach.
Tell us how you really feel. No, you don't, because we don't have much time.
Yeah, you don't want to know.
Moving on to the game that I have the trivia question for. So it is the Dallas Cowboys against the New England Patriots. First off, can you name the Patriots have been in 11 Super Bowls. Can you name the 5 teams, or in this case, 4 teams that they've lost to in their history in that game?
I can.
Matt can. Zion, can you?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
All 4 of them, right? Like,
Boom!
I've seen all 4 of the Super Bowls.
Now. I know it was
all 4 of the teams that they lost.
Wait, let me go first then. Let me go first.
They lost to one of them twice. Yeah. They lost to one of them twice.
Let me go first then. They lost to The Eagles, they lost to the Giants, and didn't they lose to
See, the other two are a little before your time,
the
Well,
Rams?
it's
Zion.
called Google
No,
is your
It's
friend.
called Google. I don't
no.
want to Google. Go
They
right
lost
ahead,
to
man.
Green Bay and they lost to Chicago.
Ding, 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 ding. In 1985, they lost to the
The
Chicago
1985 Bears.
Bears. In
Ah,
1996, the Drew Bledsoe-led Patriots with the Bill Parcells coach team lost to the eventual Super Bowl champions in the Ministry of Defense.
the Ministry of Defense.
That was the big Desmond Howard game when Desmond Howard had those big returns in that game.
He
Was
did
MVP
the
of the Super Bowl.
he did the Heisman pose. He was the Super Bowl MVP, I do believe, in
He
that game.
was.
Could
He
be
absolutely
wrong.
was.
Look at that memory. I am a savant, a czar. But that was a little trivia question. Anyways, getting back to the games, who do you have, Dallas or the Patriots? Mac.
Like I said on the roundup the other day, man, Cowboys win this one big. I think Cowboys, when they come off of those losses like they did a week ago, they usually respond also very impressively, and I think they take all that frustration out on the New England Patriots. And I think it's a blowout. This game's not even competitive.
Zion,
I agree. Like 100%.
agree that you're going with the Cowboys or agree?
Yeah, the Cowboys are gonna smash the Patriots here. It's like I like Bill Belichick, but they don't have the offense to compete.
He's going to vomit in his mouth again, ladies and gentlemen. No, me, I would want to go out on a limb here and pick the Patriots, but I'm not going to because I'm not that fun. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys, and let's see if they win. Mac Jones, you're in Big D. You're about to get the Big D from the Big D
Five.
because you're about to get railroaded. Okay, you're about to get broke back cowboyed in Dallas. Anywho, moving right along to the Arizona Cardinals, the San Francisco 49ers. Mac, I don't think you're going to.
I'm not picking the Cardinals this week. I'm not doing it. The Cardinals
Are you
just
sure
coming
about
off that
this?
emotional high, man, from that big win, that big
Not going to
Cowboy
go with 2
win.
in a row.
But they're not getting 2 in a row from me now. 49ers
You know what?
are going to take the Cardinals out here in San Fran.
As you were speaking, I was typing AZ under your name, and you're picking the 49ers anyway. So I'm just, you were so good last week. I almost wrote it in this week. San Francisco. Now, Zion, your turn.
Yeah, there's no chance that the Cardinals win this game.
SF.
Enough said.
You're taking the San Francisco 49ers. I wrote myself down for San Francisco 49ers as well. I think they are going to absolutely annihilate Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs, after this game, will have a bruise on his face because he will get beat down by Nick Bosa and company. Okay? Yes, 49ers bring the Cardinals back to Earth, back to planet Earth. They're on Mars right now. So we'll see them. The lunar eclipse called the San Francisco 49ers.
Clips.
And the last 2 games of the weekend are both New York teams in prime time. Now, the first game is Kansas City against the New York Jets. I don't really think we have to really dive too much into this, but guys, what are your choices? Mac?
No, I'm taking the Chiefs. I can't do it. I'm taking the Chiefs.
He thought about it and he paused. He said, nope. Zion.
Yeah, I
Will
don't
you be
think
the
this.
bold one?
I don't think this game should be played. They should just save the electricity, refund the tickets. It's gonna be a blowout. I don't even think the Chiefs put up. I don't think the Jets put up a point in this game.
Wow, everyone's smacking around the Jets. As will I. I have no faith in the Jets, but I would want to pick them just because I have friends that are Jet fans.
28-0 at the half.
With Zach Wilson as your quarterback and everything imploding around you, Trevor Siemian will be in by halftime. Kansas City Chiefs beat the New York Jets on prime time. Will be Mahomes' first win in MetLife Stadium. So I am going to now tell the last game of the weekend, Monday Night Football. Beep, 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 beep. And I'll stop right now. Okay, Mac and Zion.
Love it.
This is our team. Who do you guys want? I'll save myself. Actually, you know what? I'll go first just because you guys are better than I am. I'll get the trash out of the way first. That is me. I will pick the New York Giants in this game. I don't believe they're going to win, but I'm just going to pick them to win for the New York Football Giants. Zion, hit it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one for us. I have us winning too. Tell me, like, how do we stop that all offense? I don't know. I'm just a Giants fan, and I have a feeling we're gonna win this game, so I'm gonna go with the Giants.
I am just as optimistic as the both of you. I think at some point you got to get that monkey off your back, that prime time monkey that has been, just taking the New York Giants out, man.
Don't remind me of the reasons why I don't want to pick the Giants. Just
And so yeah, I just think at some point you get the monkey off your back, and this is just a do or die type of game for the New York Giants. This game determines pretty much how the rest of your season is probably going to play out, man. Got to
lose
go out
this
there
game, and you're
and get it
probably not making
done.
the playoffs. Sorry to say that.
So got to go out there and figure out a way to get it done, man. And I think I don't know why I'm seeing it. I just feel like Daniel Jones can actually go out there and maybe function
Well,
this
now you
week
just
behind
jinxed it.
behind hopefully what's going to be some better play
Andrew
from the
Thomas ain't
offensive
even
line. The
playing.
coach has been saying the coaches have been saying all the right thing all week
He
long.
said
Oh, this team's going to be ready to go kickoff. Well, we'll see because they haven't been ready to go kickoff one time this year. Not one time yet this year have they been ready to go
well
at kickoff. So
the fact that they have to be reminded about kickoff tackling is not a good thing, and the fact that you brought up Daniel Jones makes me sad. So, with that being said, I'm still going to stick with my picks. But, ladies and gentlemen, those have been your Week 4 picks for the NFL season. We will be tallying them up next week again. Mac again has a 12-3 record from last week. Zion was in second place with 9-6, and me taking up the rear, the caboose, the back o the line as I was dancing at 11-5 in week number 1 to this week. I was 7-8, probably what the Giants' record will be at the end of this, 7-8 or whatever the case may be. But hey, who knows? Where's Andrew Thomas going to be? He didn't practice today, so he probably is not playing.
he's going to be on the sideline in his fucking jeans
Eating
and
popcorn.
t-shirt and doing what he's been doing the last few weeks. I don't know the situation with him and Aziz Ojolari, but it's just I don't know.
Azeez Ojolari, forget about that guy. Send him back to Georgia. We want a refund.
You know, you can combine
These
both New
guys got
York.
to get
You
better,
can
man.
combine both New York O lines, and they wouldn't even compare to a good O line. Like both New York teams,
Well,
just combine the O lines, and you
listen,
still don't have an O line.
I would take a lot. I mean, I would put Elijah Vera Tucker out there. I would take Andrew Thomas. I could take Joe Schmitz. I mean, if you want to put Tip in that guard, that's fine. I'll take that. And then I would take Becton over Neal, not by much, though. Becton's not much better than Evan Neal. But Evan Neal is just, he can't stop his turnstile. I mean, I was watching the 49 game last night, and my God, he let everybody run by him. He had Arik Armstead running by him. He had the guy on the inside running by him. Marcus McKeithen was jabbing at people. I'm like, yo, you guys' technique sucks, bro. But anyways, those have been the picks, guys. Any last thoughts? Any games that we went over that you want to highlight? Anything that might come up? Any trivia that you might have?
Yes, I do want to highlight a couple of things. Well, I'll let Matt go first.
Oh no, go ahead, bro.
And I just want to cover a few college games. I do want to ask you a few things. We got a big one between Duke and Notre Dame coming up, and then this is the number 11th ranked team, Notre Dame, that still has a prime opportunity to get into the playoffs at the end of the season, going against a 4-0 Duke. I just want to touch on this game real fast and see your thoughts on it, Adam.
Well, the Duke quarterback's playing pretty well. It's hard to say that a Duke quarterback's playing well. Hell, I would like to take him, but we've had too many Duke quarterbacks in our history. But I think the embarrassing loss that the Notre Dame Fighting Irish had last week because of the timeouts and the 10 players on the field, I think they're going to want to rectify that. That's the type of thing that your boosters feel, like the alumni feel, that you talk about all week. Duke coming in. We don't think of Duke as a powerhouse program in the football game. In the football program, at least basketball. When I hear Duke, I think of basketball. So the fact that they're 4-0, great for them, but they haven't met a team like Notre Dame. We're going to be hungry. We're going to be ready. And I think it's in South Bend. I think it's going to be rocking and rolling.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to get back on track here against Duke.
I love that. I do want to point out that game is going to be at 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, if you're talking about that Colorado game. Big Simple. And yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully, our defense shows up. As much as Colorado has proven not to be a team that could hang with the top level competitions. As a team that fell out of the fifth spot to the sixth spot, now to the eighth spot, it kind of makes me mad because of the fact that you have these teams like Florida State and like Texas that just jumps us in rankings. So I think SC needs to go out there, and of course, now that we play Colorado, they're not ranked. So even if you win by 30, they're not gonna care. AP sucks. But that being said, that's just me being sour. We have Notre Dame on the 14th. That's going to be a big one. And then we play Utah. So that's also a big one. And then we see Oregon later on down the road. And that's going to be huge on top of Washington. So we still have a chance to go into the playoffs, but our defense needs to play better. So I just want to take the time to really shout out SC. Hopefully we go out there and we smash Colorado because we have the team to do it. And our defense needs to show up this week after giving up 28 points to Arizona State. That's unacceptable.
And I just wanted to just ask y'all one more question before we get out. It's something I meant to, meant to bring it up a little earlier, but former New York Giant quarterback was very critical of Daniel Jones this week. I happened to be scrolling down Twitter and saw this, and it's not Phil Simms, not Eli Manning, not like Jeff Hostetler or somebody like that, not a Frank Tarkenton, not a guy that's won championships for New York City quarterback, but Dave Brown. Dave Brown. Very critical of Daniel Jones this week. Stating the New York Giants need to cut their losses and he's not the guy. And Dave Brown.
He would
I just want
know.
to know how you guys feel about Dave Brown. About Dave Brown, of all people, coming out so publicly about Daniel Jones.
Man, Dave Brown. Listen, he's probably mad because he had a better career at Duke than he did, so he's probably being critical. He's not necessarily. I hate to say it. I don't necessarily disagree with Dave Brown. You know how I feel about Daniel Jones, but the fact that Dave Brown, who was I rather polish a turd and start him at quarterback than Dave Brown. I can't remember I defended this guy when I was a kid. I was like, oh man, Dave Brown's going to be good. And the Giants defended him. You want to talk about loyalty for too long? The Giants didn't get rid of Dave Brown after terrible season after terrible season. 1992, he gets drafted, right? 93, he backs up Sims. 94, he has an up and down season where they win 3, they lose 7, they win 4, they win 6 in a row at the end of the year, right? So they go 9-7 in 1994. Ooh, hopes are high. Dan Reeves, another thing. 1995 comes out, looks like absolute dog shit. They get railroaded by the Cowboys in game 1. 1996, they've tried again with Dan Reeves. After they drafted Tyrone Wheatley, they come out in 1996, draft a guy named Cedric Jones who's blind. Okay, bring in Dave Brown again with receivers like Chris Calloway, Mike Sherrard. And need I go on? Amani Toomer was drafted, but he wasn't the Amani Toomer Boom, he stinks. You know who we bring in next? Jim Fossil, who's an offensive guru. Does this sound familiar? To revive the Duke quarterback. Again, does this sound familiar? Who, by the way, went 10-5-1 in his first year to resurrect a Duke quarterback coming from the Cardinals. He was hired because he had Kent Graham and Boomer Esiason looking like competent quarterbacks. Dave Brown, you know how long Dave Brown lasted in the 1997 season? 5 games, best 5 games of his career. Too bad they ended on a torn bicep muscle. Goodbye, Dave Brown. Shut your damn mouth. You have no clout to say anything, even though you do stink. You'll be on the golf course with Daniel Jones. At that point, you can both talk about your lousy careers as Giant quarterbacks. Hamstring.
Andrew Thomas has a hamstring. He's been dealing with a hamstring since the week 1 game.
They said he had a setback. Well, lack of
him and Aziz both.
Aziz
dealing with hamstrings.
So is
I don't know about a setback. I just know.
So is our tight end.
And Bellinger has something wrong with his neck. Apparently, he was on the injury report too with something with his neck.
Yeah, that's not what I want to hear.
I don't think he's going to miss any time.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then we have you know what Seattle's report is? Jamal Adams coming back. Tua Wooden coming back. Their interior lineman coming back. Oh, Charles Cross coming back. Meanwhile, we have this guy's banged up. This guy's banged up. That guy's banged up. Anyways, that's enough for me. I've said enough.
All right, guys, we're gonna get ready to wrap everything up, man. Unless you guys got any final thoughts on the evening.
I didn't know who Dave Brown was, so thank you for explaining it to me. I looked him up on Wikipedia as he was talking about him.
Yeah, he
Younger
was one of the
fan.
New York
Yeah.
Giants quarterbacks after Phil Simms that we just, yeah,
Alrighty.
you didn't miss much, Zion.
Alright. Hashtag bad Giants fan. Let's get it.
Dave Brown was the second best Duke quarterback to play for
What
the
is that?
The first one, the first Duke quarterback that you're watching, who's being revived by another offensive coordinator who happened to go 9-7-1. Sound familiar? I wouldn't be surprised if in his second season doesn't make the playoffs like Jim Fossil. I'm just saying. Dave Brown, DB, the man, the myth, the legend. Hope you don't have his jersey because it stinks.
I don't know who would ever bought a Dave Brown jersey. But all right, guys, man, it's been fun. Another good evening. Premium Taste Podcast. We'll definitely be right back here with y'all again next Friday night. Same bat time, same bat channels, man. Make sure y'all sub up, like, just for the stream, man. Everything, all the good stuff, man. And before we get up out of here, throw them fours up for my guy NYG Jeffy T, man. The one, the only Jeffrey Turner, man. Throw them fours up for my guy, man. This has been another edition of the Premium Takes Podcast. Pass.